Okay, so today we are going to talk about our FSBO plan. So this is the FSBO plan that we are currently using on our team. And it's one that is kind of a hybrid of what Matt has taught a lot of his coaching clients, and then just taking that and really putting it on steroids in terms of developing out some additional content to mail out to other people. So we call this the FSBO backup plan. We actually had to call it something else because there's another coach that does a FSBO backup plan, and we didn't want to have issues with, all of that. So I call it the program itself. I call unlocking listings, but we refer to it as a backup plan to clients when we're working with them. And the high level thought process here is that most FSBOs are going to choose to list at around week 5 to 6. So we need to get in early, build a relationship, and let you be the number one choice in their head. So when they're ready to interview agents, that they are that you're top of mind for them to interview. So give me just a second. So the kind of the first step of this is going to either be an initial call or we have a box that I'm going to show you. So the initial call, let me share screen here. We have a couple different phone scripts for the initial call. Oh, are you guys seeing my Canvas screen? Okay, cool. I want to make sure I wasn't showing you anything else that I didn't want to show you. Not that there's anything bad up here. Um, so there's the I work
Michelle,
with buyers.
are you recording? Sorry.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding, Mom. So the I work with buyers script. This is a script that you can use to basically just not say you have a buyer for the property, but to say that you have buyers that you work with and that you like to preview properties. So you make this seem like you are the authority when it comes to working with buyers. And most of these FSBO sellers haven't sold real estate before. They don't know what's normal for agents and what's not normal for agents to be doing. So you really are going into it with the approach of, hey, I work with buyers. As a courtesy to my buyers, I preview off-market properties every week to help narrow down what might be a fit for them. And you're just trying to get in the door from that perspective. So it starts off pretty simple. You're just, going with your, hey, this is so and so local real estate agent. Honestly, I would even just skip the hi. One technique that I've learned that works really well is just saying their name and then pausing for a minute, like you know them. Like, Jeremy, hey, this is Michelle with eXp Realty, and I noticed your home was on the market. Uh, then you just go right into your script, but you want to like start off with their name and a pause. Seems to work a little bit better than like hi or is this. Never ask is this so and so. That automatically just screams that you are soliciting them for something and you're going to get a lot more hangups and rejection. But the goal of this one is really just jumping into it and like, hey, I have a buyer. Now, or not necessarily I have a buyer, but I work with buyers. Now, if you guys have an open house nearby, you should be using this script. And that is essentially, you're going to go into it and say, hey, I have an open house in your neighborhood this weekend. And you know what I find is that most people that walk through my open houses, the house that I'm sitting in isn't going to be a fit for them. So what I like to do is understand what other options in the area might be a fit for them as well. Your home seems pretty similar in whatever, I might say style, size, price point, whatever, to the home that I'm sitting in. And I was just wondering if I could take a few minutes to just buzz through your home real quick and get a feel for the layout. That way, when I'm at my open house, if this isn't a fit for them, then I can go ahead and send them your way and see if your home might be a fit for them as well. So your goal in this is just trying to get in the door and have that initial conversation so that you can kind of build rapport from there. There's a neighborhood expert script. If it's a neighborhood you farm, a neighborhood that you have a lot of listings in, you can also attack it from the approach of that, you're the neighborhood expert. But the goal here is to really get in the door and get an appointment if you can. Now, if you don't get the appointment, and this is a big thing that If you don't get the appointment, you still follow up with them. And you're going to end the conversation with, thanks for talking to me today. As I mentioned, I have a list of buyers that I provide off-market properties to. So I'm going to give you a call next week just to check and see how things are going and make sure that the home is still on the market. So I know if I need to remove it from my list. And what you're doing from that script is you are setting the expectation that you're going to be calling them again. That way, it gives you permission to follow up with them. So I'm going to pause for a minute. Do you guys have any questions on the scripts or kind of the intro conversation that you're having with FSBO sellers?
Yes, I do. Do you ask at all, if they already have a realtor in mind, or once you find out they already have one, are you
Nope.
still
Don't
really
ask.
trying? No. Okay.
Don't ask too many
But if you,
questions up
right,
front, or you end up
okay,
getting like
right,
you're not doing a consultation here. Your goal is to get in the door. So your
sure,
goal is to not try to talk about you being
right,
their realtor. It
okay,
is more to
yeah,
just get in the door and then have that conversation. Because a
and
face-to-face is going to convert a lot better than a
right.
voice-to-voice on the phone.
So once you get face to face and you find out they've already have a realtor in mind, are you going to continue um, following up with them in hopes that maybe that
Absolutely.
realtor isn't doing? Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Yep, I
Because
am because
I kind of, after a while, I think, oh, I don't want to waste my time, but it may be time well spent.
it may be time well spent. And obviously, if they're like, my brother's a realtor, or, you're going to make a judgment call
Right,
on that based on that. But I would not rule anybody
sure,
out by them simply saying
right.
they have a realtor in mind.
Okay, because maybe they haven't even signed documents and they're fair game.
Yeah, I mean, if they're still listed for sale by owner, they probably haven't signed documents.
All right,
It's probably one of
right,
those situations like what we have a lot where we help them as a buyer's agent, or they're looking at properties with us, but they're going to just try to sell their property on their own. So it's a
right.
situation where I would
Yep,
say they're probably not yet married to that agent.
yes,
The goal of that first conversation is really
just getting in the door.
having that initial conversation to get started. I use the line a lot. Like if you can tell that they're super annoyed that you're calling, I always say, hey, listen, I get it. The good news is I'm not calling to tell you that you should list with me.
I've
At this
said that.
point in
Yep,
time, you're not talking to them at all about listing with you. You're asking questions and getting in the door.
right.
Um, and you're asking questions about those property too. So like if as you're building that rapport, you're saying, hey, I work with buyers, or I have this open house. And you're going to say, hey, you know what? I noticed. You're going to have the Zillow listing or whatever up next to you. And you're going to say, hey, I noticed there wasn't anything on there about, and you're going to pick something, the roof, the siding, the mechanicals, something you can't tell from that description. And you're going to ask that question like, hey, I noticed there wasn't much about the mechanicals on there. Can you tell me how old is the air conditioning and the furnace unit? Like you're going to just ask these questions to try and come off to them as like you're this knowledgeable realtor that's just trying to get more information for your buyers. The other thing too that I ask is, if a buyer's agent brought you, so you're going from that perspective of you're an agent, you're the buyer's agent. If a buyer's agent brought you a fully qualified buyer that wanted to write an offer, are you willing to work with buyer's agents? Just asking those questions up front, building that rapport. So that is thing one. How many of you guys are calling FSBOs right now? Anyone? Alan? Okay,
I
cool.
am. And something I've done recently just because of the weather changes is, and I don't know if it's right, wrong, or indifferent, but I noticed the pictures, and this is somebody that I've had an appointment and I've had conversations, just a couple. I mean, it's just been a couple of weeks away. Is the I've talked to them about, have you thought about taking new pictures because of the weather changes? Because that's a good thing to bring up to
Yeah.
them also.
So, and I would almost wait to have that conversation if you can until you get in the door as well. I mean, you can give them little tidbits of things, but you're again trying not to come at it from the listing agent perspective, more of like I'm the buyer's agent to get in the door so that their guard is down and they don't know that they don't feel like you're working against them or you're trying to tell them that what they're doing is wrong. You're going to have a lot of conversation during this that is going to be about how they can very well sell their house on their own. You're going to give them confidence. You're going to give them courage, but you're going to be sprinkling in little seeds of doubt in your conversation and the language techniques that you're using that are going to make them think, can I really do this on my own? Without telling them that. So there's a couple aspects to this piece too. So I'm going to stop screen sharing for just a minute and I'll show you guys our live box here. So we do a box. You can, if you don't want to have like an initial phone call, you can also do a pop by as your initial touch if you want to. If you get the appointment, you're bringing this box with you. If you don't get the appointment, you can drop this box off and leave it on their front porch, and then you're going to text them to let them know you dropped it off. But we have these boxes. So we just found a really cool, thanks to Liz that was on here last week. She does box it, so we're switching to that. But we do these boxes. So inside the box, you're going to have a FSBO resource guide that I'll show you guys here in a minute. But you're going to have some sort of resource guide that talks to them about selling a house and gives them tips and tricks on selling a house. And then you're going to have some fun things in here. Like we have, everybody that's selling a house and needs touch-ups, you need to clean. So we're going to have something like that in there, maybe a stress ball, like selling your house doesn't have to be stressful. And then we're going to have that resource guide. We might have, a list of like neutral paint colors to paint your house. Those kind of things are going to go in this box. So again, you can do that in one of two ways. You can do the box at your appointment. You can leave your box on the front porch and text them to let them know that you left it. Or you can do it as your initial conversation. If you don't want to have a call and you want to do a pop by as your initial conversation, then you can use this box as that initial touch as well. And let me pull up our resource guide real quick that we use. So inside the box, you're going to also have this resource guide or something similar that you've created. And this thing is truly like, it uses a lot of the techniques that the tactical empathy techniques that Chris Voss uses. But you're just talking about how like selling your home is the biggest financial decision that you're going to make. And then it gives them some stats on how many homes were sold FSBO. And then it's just asking them question like, can I maximize my home's value, protect myself legally, and ensure a smooth transaction without unnecessary steps? Like it's just going into all these things that are, here's the hard truths about FSBOs. Selling without an agent means that you're stepping into competition, an ever-changing market against professionals that know what they're doing. How will you ensure your home stands out against new builds, price-reduced properties, professionally marketed homes? Like it's just asking them questions that you're helping them think about things, but then hopefully also making them think, oh crap, I need to know these things and I don't know the answer to these things. And then at the end, it just has, let's keep it simple. You want to sell your house. You want the most money possible. You want the process to be smooth and stress-free. I respect that you're selling it on your own, but if you ever find that you're facing challenges or want a second opinion, here's your backup plan. So you're totally going into this as like, I'm just here as your backup. I'm going to put you on my buyer list. But if you have any questions along the way, I'm here for you. And in that initial conversation, I always end the visit. If we haven't talked about listing, if they haven't asked me about listing, I'm always going to end that conversation before I leave and say, obviously I sell real estate for a living, so it would be amiss if I didn't bring up to you that I do list houses as well. So while I am here representing my buyers and adding you to the buyers list, if there does come a time where you decide that you'd like to list your home, I would hope that you'll give me the opportunity to interview for a position as your agent. So you sprinkle it in there and let them know like, hey, I want to be your agent if it comes to that point, but you're not saying this is why you should list with me. You're having that conversation. You're walking through, you've brought this box that's going to have resources for you. But at this point in time, you're just walking through the house with them. You're asking questions. You're taking notes. And then you are building that rapport, asking them what's going well, what's not going well, really just getting to know them, figuring out their pain points without seeming like you're trying to sell them on listing the home with you, and positioning yourself again as an expert in your arena. Now, this is a 5-week plan. So the initial, we are hoping you get a phone call. We're hoping you get an appointment. You're always trying to go for that appointment if you can, have a reason to stop by. But in the meantime, you know they're probably not going to list with you. I have had some that have listed with me on the first appointment. It does happen, especially if you are calling people that are a few weeks into the process and they're tired. They're tired of having your open houses. They're tired of agents calling and they're tired of everything. Sometimes you can get them right on that first appointment. But most of the time, it's going to be several weeks out, and your follow-up is going to be crucial. So one thing that we do is we set up a website that has all of our videos tied into it. So it's called the FSBO Playbook, is how we present it to the clients on the other side. So we're giving you the strategies to sell your home. So you're going to have a website that's going to have QR codes on all this stuff that's in your box and stuff that you're handing out to them. And it's going to talk about why you would why we would help you sell your house for sale by owner. And this is going to be a video, again, just talking about very positively, like, we believe you can sell your house by owner. It's very possible to do that. We just want to be here as your backup plan once if you decide that you list with an agent. So you're setting up a kind of a plan with them where, like, I'm going to be honest with you. Yes, I'm doing this for my buyers, but I'm also doing this because I list properties and I want to be your backup plan. And then you talk to them a little bit about your flexible commission. So now this is going to vary by state. We're on a national call here. So not everybody is going to be able to do this, and not every brokerage is going to allow you to do this, but you can have a flexible commission plan. That might mean that you have different offerings based on different things. The way that we do it would be we have a certain like full service price that we would do. I've got another price if you need me to just help you with your paperwork. You want me to represent you and help you once you get a buyer, from your paperwork writing up all the way through closing. And then I've got another program where we can list it full price. And then if you bring a buyer yourself and it doesn't come through me or someone on the MLS, it comes from you, Mr. Seller, then I'm going to give you a reduced commission. We'll adjust that commission for you. So that's the flexible commission. We talk about the no handcuff, hey, it's easy to get out of our listing agreement. If you're not happy with the service we're providing, all you have to do is let us know and give us an opportunity to make it right. And if we can't make it right, you're going to get out of that program, or you're going to get out of that listing agreement. We talk about what we do for marketing, how we dominate social media. And then we're going to talk about like our for sale guarantee, which is essentially, if we can't sell your home in a certain period of time, then we'll give you a reduced commission. So there's different ways you can create for sale guarantees on that too. So they're clicking on these, and these all, I don't know if these are, I've got my AI videos on this.
With flexible commissions. This program is designed.
That's our course program thing. I wouldn't do AI with normal, but you're going to have all your videos in a YouTube channel so that they can just click on them and then they're going to get those videos. So this is one thing that's like QR. It's kind of like silently sitting on there. This obviously isn't things that are going to help them sell. This is things that are going to sell you to them. And then you're also going to make some videos that are going to go with this postcard mailer. So every week you're calling them or texting them, right? You got to follow up. Is it still for sale? Or do I need to leave it on my list still? And then you're mailing them a postcard and you're emailing them. So the postcards and the emails all kind of match. And there's going to be a video that's going to dive deeper into this. So it's all about tips on selling your house. So Mom, when you mentioned changing out photos, that's a great tip that you could add in as something to send to them. So we've got let me pull up my postcard here. So I've got a postcard on staging that I'm going to send them. And it's going to have a QR code on the back that we're going to scan. that's going to tie into a video that I have on YouTube that talks about staging and why staging is important and how it can help you sell your home. So every week we're going to have a different postcard and a different video link that's going to be on the back of all those postcards that we're going to send to them. So we've got depersonalizing your home, marketing, why that's important to have professional photography, pricing, why pricing your home correctly can make or break your getting your home sold, staging, decluttering. And then we talk about the psychology of the buyer, how you got to get into a buyer's head when you're the seller, and you got to make your home look appealing to the buyer. You want them to get it and envision it as their home, not your home. And some of the things that you can do from that perspective. So again, each of these have a video. So it's like a short, hey, here we're going to give you a little short synopsis on, the psychology of the buyer, but then I'm going to have a QR code they can scan that's going to get them more information and talk to them about the psychology of the buyer and what they need to do to really think about how the buyer is thinking. So that is high level our plan. I'm going to open it up to you guys. Who has questions, comments?
I got one, maybe two.
Yeah.
I had a for sale by owner I was talking to that decided to go ahead and list with a flat fee
Yep.
company here, which gave me the opportunity to find out who they are and actually go through the process like I was selling my home to see what fees they charge. And I actually did a side-by-side spreadsheet on how much they're actually saving by going with the flat fee compared to all the services that an agent offers as part of their commission, breakdown with the staging, recommendations, marketing, professional photos, et cetera, et cetera. They weren't saving a whole lot.
No.
I think the difference was about $2,000, and that excludes all the marketing that we do.
Yep.
So when you break it down side by side, and I could pull that spreadsheet up sometime or share it. I can't remember the name of the company, but it was a flat fee. I think we got a couple of them here in Jefferson City. So that leads me to my next question. Since they technically signed with that flat fee company, what are your thoughts? Are we still allowed to contact them?
If they are, no. Well, and of course, I think every state has different rules, but I know like as NAR members, especially if they are also licensed agents, you shouldn't be contacting them from a like legal and ethical standpoint.
Right.
So
That's my thoughts too, because it's in an agent's name with the company, with the flat fee company. So, just in case anybody else was thinking about that here on the call,
yeah,
I haven't contacted them since. No text, no calls, no emails.
yeah. I
Nothing.
mean, if you ever had an opportunity to be in the door in front of them or whatever, I mean, I don't think it'd be bad to send a note that just said, hey, thank you for letting me view your home. Appreciate you spending your time with me, and like, kind of one more touch that's not soliciting them for the listing, that's not asking them if you can show a buyer, because now you need to do that through the agent. I don't think that would be a bad thing, but I wouldn't do anything that would solicit them. I think that could get you into legal and ethical problems depending on what your state looks like.
Yeah, I agree. And I've been in the home, sent the thank you note, and had talked to them since when they said they were going to list with the flat fee, and saw it pop up like the very next day.
Yeah.
So, lo and behold, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, still in the market, same price. No marketing's being done for them. It's just in the MLS. I
Yep.
doubt they're getting any traction because it's a little overpriced. Our market here is, I call it reconciling
Yep.
with COVID, the COVID era. So things are staying on the market a little bit longer, and prices are starting to trickle down a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, we're kind of seeing that too, where things are, maybe we just aren't having the same level of appreciation as we were previously, but people want to price it really high. Like, oh, if they got this much last year, then I should be able to get this much this year. I think in those situations, so Alan, you brought up a good point. So let's pretend they're not listed with them yet. That would be where there'd be some great questions. And this kind of ties into you, Angie, too, your comment about if they're already working with someone, just asking those questions. Oh, what do you like about the realtor? How's the conversation going with them so far? You're not trying to, I don't feel you often win a battle against another agent when you bash that other agent or try to just like pump your chest up about how great you are compared to them. I think it's asking the questions and having the conversation to help them get to that conclusion themselves. So I think, you know, in those situations, I'd be like, what do you like about the real estate agent? What makes you want to go flat fee? What do you know about the difference? This is a good one too, Alan. What do you know about the difference between a flat fee first versus a full service broker? Let them tell you what they know, and then you can fill in the gaps from there for them and help them kind of come into that conclusion themselves. So, all right, we are about at time. If you guys want, I actually have this product on my Sand store. So I have all the templates, like the video scripts, the phone scripts, the text scripts, the emails that you can copy and paste in there, all the postcards, the objection handlers, all that stuff. And is like plug and play ready for you on Canva. So if you guys want that, it's stand.store/Michelle Turnus. Or we've got, I'll throw the link on our leverage agent group as well, if you guys are interested in that. But yeah, that's what we got. Next week, Audra's going to tackle her Friend Connect program and tackling your sphere on Wednesday. So we will join you. We'll be back here on Friday for Freestyle Friday. So if you guys are having any troubles with like objections that you're getting from clients, scripts you want to practice, just anything, come prepared with those so that we can have some conversation and help you guys overcome some of the challenges that you're having. So, all right, you guys have a wonderful day.